Welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Natasha Kirchuk, and coming up in today's newscast, Christmas is finally here, and we'll reveal a major update about the Christian community in Israel. We'll meet a teenager who's changing education about Israel in Europe, and we hope you're hungry because we have the scoop on an Israeli restaurant that's making international waves. All right, it is almost Christmas Eve, and Christians across Israel are getting ready. In fact, more Christians than ever before. And that's because the latest statistics show that the Christian community in Israel is on the rise. Today, roughly 2% of the Israeli population is Christian. That's 177,000 Christians, and just over 77% of them are Arab, making up around 7% of Israel's Arab community. Now, most of Israel's Christians live in northern Israel and the Galilee, but where do the majority reside? Well, in none other than Jesus' childhood home of Nazareth, where about 22,000 Christians live alongside an estimated 55,000 Muslim residents. Now, Christians may have the lowest birth rate among Israel's religious communities, but the Christian community has grown by almost 2% in the last year. And they've made striking educational achievements as well. Over 70% of Christian Israeli high schoolers achieve college entry matriculation grades, and 3 out of 4 Christian master degree students are women. So it looks like there's a lot more for the Christian community to celebrate than just Christmas this week. All right, now in honor of the Christmas holiday, Prime Minister Netanyahu has a special message for the Christian community in Israel and abroad.
Merry Christmas to all our Christian friends in Israel and around the world. The state of Israel is the culmination of so many prophecies and our deepest held values. We share the common civilization, Judeo-Christian civilization, that has given the world the values of freedom, individual liberty, the sanctity of life, the belief in one God. We know that we have no better friends around the world than our Christian friends. So thank you. Thank you all for standing up with Israel, standing up for the truth. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right, well, it looks like the Israeli Prime Minister's plans to annex the Jordan Valley won't be happening anytime soon. Netanyahu's plans have reportedly entered a deep freeze following the International Criminal Court's decision to investigate Israeli-Palestinian war crimes in the territories. Just a week before the last Israeli elections on September 17th, the Israeli Prime Minister made a promise that caused an international uproar.
היום אני מודיע על כוונתי להחיל עם הקמת הממשלה הבאה את הריבונות הישראלית על בקעת הירדן וצפון ים המלח.
The Jordan Valley is a part of Judean Samaria, or the West Bank, that runs along Israel's eastern border with Jordan, or what the Prime Minister calls Israel's defense wall. And even though the annexation would be built as a security measure for the state of Israel, opponents claim it would ultimately seize land that is vital to any future Palestinian state and therefore dismantle the peace process. But the Prime Minister says that the move is a long time coming.
In the last 3 years under the Trump administration, I've been moving things that have been unimaginable. We've got the Americans to agree to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital, to move their embassy here, to recognize our sovereignty in the Golan Heights, to pull out of the dangerous Iran agreement, which Gantz and Lapid support. All of that has been here. Now we're at the cusp of doing something great. I've been preparing the ground for American recognition for our annexation of the Jordan Valley, and indeed I intend to apply Israeli law to all the settlements, inside the blocks, outside the blocks.
Well, it doesn't look like annexation is on the table for now because the first interministerial meeting to discuss extending Israeli sovereignty over the Jordan Valley was canceled last week, just hours before it was scheduled to start. The cancellation came right after it became clear that the International Criminal Court was planning to probe Israel. The ICC says it will proceed with an investigation into crimes committed in the Palestinian territories, including Israel's settlement policy, the 2014 Gaza war, and the Israeli response to violent protests on the Gaza Strip border. Hamas will be probed for its targeting of civilians and use of its own people as human shields during war. Israeli media is reporting that Israeli government officials fear that moving forward with the annexation of the Jordan Valley will escalate Israel's confrontation with the ICC, which is why the issue will enter a so-called deep freeze. Israel is accusing the ICC of bias against Israel and anti-Semitism. All right, well, now joining us in the studio is a very talented 13-year-old who has gone viral for his pro-Israel advocacy. He's created an organization called Young Advocates for Israel. And take a look at this video that has just been making waves.
Israel is much criticized every day in the world. And I never really understood why. Why do we speak in the news too often in a negative way about the state of Israel? And in my opinion, the main answer is blind hate, anti-Semitism, and lack of education.
All right, well, joining us now is Gabriel Pace, who is here in Israel all the way from Belgium after being invited by the Israeli ambassador for your work. So, first of all, tell us about this organization that you've created and why.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for inviting me.
It is our pleasure. It's our pleasure.
Yes, so YAFI, it's an organization, Young Advocates for Israel. It's an organization that is fighting against the misinformation and the lies about Israel. So what I want to do with YAFI is to tell the truth to the youth in Europe.
You live in Belgium today, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so is there something specific that happened that made you feel the need to create this organization? Why is this so important to you?
Because when sometimes I'm going, this is an example, but when I'm going with my friends outside, going to the park, and they send us, you cannot take a flag of Israel, a sign that makes feel that you are about Israel or you are Jewish. And this is, I think, a problem because why can we not be proud about being Israeli or Jews?
And being who you are,
yeah,
right? Well, so you know, what are some of the reactions that you have been getting? What are some of the things that you're trying to teach to the people with your organization?
For the moment, the reaction was pretty good, but what I want to teach, it's the reality about Israel. Like what we hear in the media in Europe, it's like incredible what the lies that they can tell. It's incredible what we hear. So. And
you were invited here to Israel by the Israeli ambassador, right? Can you tell us about that?
I was invited in Belgium with the Israeli ambassador, and it was a good appointment.
Yeah, do you like being here? Is this your first time here in Israel?
No, it's not. I'm going 2 or 3 times on a year.
Oh, wow. So you know this country pretty well.
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay, and I also just have to say for our viewers who don't know this, Gabriel, how many languages do you speak?
I speak 4 languages, French, English, Dutch, and Hebrew.
Wow, so you really have all of the skills and the basis to be able to advocate for Israel. And we'd just like to thank you so much for joining us because what you're doing is very important. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much.
All right, speaking of anti-Semitism, it's been just weeks since U.S. President Donald Trump issued an executive order to combat anti-Semitism, which grants Jewish students the same protections as other minority groups. And now that executive order is being tested. ILTV's Nittany Manson has the scoop.
Jonathan Cartine is studying at Columbia University in New York City, and when he heard that a well-known professor in the Department of Middle Eastern, South Asian, and African Studies had endorsed Hamas's military wing with impunity, he was shocked. Cartine is a Jewish Israeli-American whose own uncle was kidnapped and murdered by a Hamas cell in Israel in 1996. And he says this isn't the first time that Jewish students at Columbia University have endured systematic discrimination from tenured professors and anti-Israel groups. That's why he's decided to file a federal complaint against Columbia University for anti-Semitic discrimination. His complaint has been filed by the Lawfare Project, an American nonprofit that works to protect the human and civil rights of Jewish and pro-Israel communities worldwide. A Columbia spokesperson says that the university has no formal comment on the complaint.
Well, today an estimated 5.8 million Americans live with Alzheimer's disease and 205,000 have been diagnosed here in Israel. And families are desperate for a ray of hope, especially since the illness doesn't have a cure or even a treatment. Well, now there's an unsuspecting prevention method that could change the game. A vaccine originally created to treat tuberculosis and bladder cancer may actually be the cure for something else, Alzheimer's disease. Or at least that's what researchers at Hebrew University are saying after an interesting finding. They noticed that countries that had treated bladder cancer with tuberculosis vaccine, also called the BCG vaccine, had lower rates of Alzheimer's. And the research has been there all along, stretching back to the 1960s. It's just that it hadn't been properly analyzed until now. After getting the tip, researchers followed over 1,000 bladder cancer patients at Geddes hospital here in Israel who were being treated for bladder cancer. And with an average patient age of 68, researchers are discovering that those who did not get the vaccine were significantly more at risk for Alzheimer's. 8.9% who didn't receive the vaccine were at risk in comparison to just 2.4% who had been exposed. Now, those who had never been treated with the vaccine at all were 4 times as likely to develop the disease than those who had at least some exposure. Ironically, while it is tough to get a precise measurement of the impact that the vaccine has on cancer, evidence that the vaccine can prevent Alzheimer's is pretty strong. Currently, Alzheimer's disease has no cure or treatment available at all. All right, let's face it, art can be expensive and our tastes can change, and there's nothing worse than getting sick of what's on your wall after you spent a bunch of money on it. Well, joining us now in the studio is Rob Anders, the co-founder and CEO of Neo, a company that is redefining how you decorate. All right, so what is Neo? Tell us about it.
So let's take a step back. Here in Israel, the startup nation, it's all about tech and what we bring to this world. And as someone that's been building tech companies for 20 years, I'm always conscious of the responsibility we have as entrepreneurs as bringing tech into this world.
Right.
And in today's world, we're worrying about being constantly bombarded with information, with noise, with advertising. People are living in screens. We don't know what's real, what's not real. The opportunity to give people an opportunity to have a digital experience which is positive is something really important for us. And when it comes to art, which is something that traditionally was only for the exclusive audience, we wanted the opportunity to expose, but also to inspire people everywhere by giving them access to digital format art, given that we're so used to digital consumption.
Okay, so to break this down, you basically offer massive screens with different pieces of artwork on them, right? And they can change whenever you want. How does it work?
So ultimately, the experience is that we're enabling people to reimagine the way they experience art in their everyday lives, where you live, where you work, where you explore. And essentially what we do on the one side, we provide a very robust technology platform for thousands of the top artists and galleries around the world, currently about 4,000 from 60 countries, to publish their digital format artworks. So these are artworks which were created digitally to be experienced digitally.
So they don't exist physically, it's all digitally.
Exactly. So you're talking about video art, interactive art. What you see here is an artwork where the artist looks for meaningful sets of information, of data. He creates software which turns that data into a visual art experience through software algorithms, and then the experience you have is this kind of data moving image. It's called a data painting.
So this is kind of, it almost feels like this is a glimpse into the future, how art is going to exist down the line, right?
Listen, art has always done 2 things. It's always told the story of the world we live in. And today we're living in a world which is digital, which is connected. And artists have always used whatever tool you give them to create and tell their story.
So how many artists do you have on this platform?
So currently just under 4,000 from 60 countries.
And how much does it cost if you want to get one of the Neo monitors with
So this is an experience which is new to people. So we know that people at home don't wake up in the morning and say, I want digital art like they do with Netflix. That's what we think this is.
Let me just spend $200 right now on digital.
Each of the artworks on the platform, if you were to buy them, would cost anywhere from $5,000 or $10,000 up to $1 million as a limited edition. We decided to focus first of all on hotels, on offices, on the places where we can expose this experience to the most amount of people possible, and then prepare to take this into people's homes. So if you're looking at a hotel here in Tel Aviv, for example, the Norman Hotel, if you're talking about Hiltons and Marriotts, they could be paying anything from around about $200 a month to get access to a collection of art which changes through the year. So maybe 12 artworks.
Okay, so it's a monthly fee. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us and telling us about this. Certainly a different way to consume artwork.
Indeed it is, thank you.
All right, now for those of you who haven't heard of him, Asaf Granit is a world-famous Israeli chef who is a star in Israel's TV version of MasterChef. He's a big deal here in Israel, but now he's making headlines in France. 3 months. That's how long Israeli chef Asaf Granit's newest restaurant called Shaboul has been open in Paris. But 3 months is apparently all he needs to get his restaurant rated the best in the city. That's right, the leading French daily Le Figaro says Shaboul is #1. The restaurant boasts Israeli-French cuisine and has gotten special praise for dishes like its pumpkin ravioli with hazelnut butter and tarragon, and its olive oil chocolate mousse. In fact, Shaboul has already been ranked as one of the 13 trendiest new restaurants in Paris back in October, so it's doing pretty well for itself. This is Chef Granit's second restaurant in Paris and his 13th in Europe. And he even has a famous restaurant here in Jerusalem called Machne Yehuda. Granit is known for having started the trend of opening restaurants up in Israeli open markets and using farm-to-table ingredients. All right, speaking of food, this story is a blend of culture. ILTV's Shanna Fold caught up with a vegan Chinese chef who came to Israel all the way from Shanghai. So Shanna, what is going on here?
It was a workshop to teach Israelis how to make vegan Chinese food. And you know what I said? They did not get to take the easy way out like the New Yorkers who are ordering tonight takeout.
Right, well, there aren't that many good Chinese options here in Israel, so you must have learned something.
It's lacking.
All right, let's take a look.
Jews are known for ordering Chinese takeout on Christmas. Well, this year's takeout is becoming a lot more authentic, thanks to a chef from Shanghai who's flown into Israel to show him how it's done. This is Chi Zhang. She travels the world teaching foreign communities how to cook Chinese food. But here's the catch. She only makes vegan dishes. So it's no surprise she's visiting Israel for the first time, a country with the most vegans per capita in the world.
The interest I got from people within a couple of hours after posting, it was impressive. I'm here for 1 month, and then I have about 15 workshops all over the country.
China is the world's largest market for beef, poultry, and pork. But a growing wave of veganism is hitting the country as more and more health-conscious Chinese are pushing the nation toward a plant-based lifestyle. Research indicates that China is the fastest-growing vegan market in the world. Today, Zhang is making mushroom dill soup, quinoa salad, a bean noodle stir-fry, stuffed tofu with mushroom, beetroot burger patties, and a mixed berry cheesecake. Zhang says she likes to use few ingredients to let the food speak for itself. People who really focused on the demonstration today say they like the way that there was just a small amount of oil used and that these things are items they can make at home.
I will for sure do this recipe that is written here of the beetroot burger patties. Very easy to do, very tasty.
And really nice to learn dishes from overseas and from somewhere very far away. And I actually am going to Far East in January, so it's a little bit of a taster.
And learning how to prepare authentic Chinese food may be becoming even more of an important skill in Israel. In the first half of 2019 alone, Chinese tourism has risen by 67%, and there are very few local Chinese restaurants in the country.
All right, I'm hungry now, and it's Christmas Eve tonight, so ILTV's Emmanuel Kadosh has the scoop on what you should be doing here in the Holy Land. Hello, Emmanuel.
Hello, Natasha. So there's so many places around Israel that you can go and really get the festive vibe of Christmas. Tel Aviv doesn't seem to be one of them. You can barely even notice that it's Christmas time here, let alone December.
Yeah, well, you have to go to Yafa to really feel it, but I like to go to Nazareth every year to celebrate Christmas. It's my favorite place.
Yes, Nazareth is an amazing place, but there's so many more, and I got to do a piece on it. Check this out.
In the United States, we're used to massive Christmas celebrations. However, the Jewish state goes big for the Jewish high holidays. That's why when Christmas time comes around, people from all over the country are excited to celebrate. Let's take a look at a few places you can go to celebrate Christmas in the Holy Land.
Considering Bethlehem is home to the Church of Nativity, where Jesus was born, celebrating Christmas in the city is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. The main streets leading to the city of Bethlehem are decorated with bright green, red, and white lights that you simply cannot miss. Bethlehem is significant to all denominations of Christianity and Catholicism, which means there are several processions that take place for a variety of denominations, including Greek Orthodox, Armenian, Catholic, Protestant, and Ethiopian Orthodox. It's a great opportunity to visit for Christmas and celebrate the holiday with an international community. The city of Nazareth is a charming and historically rich city where Jesus is believed to have grown up. It's home to the largest Arab Christian community in Israel and is located in the Galilee region of Israel's north. The 2,000-year-old city absolutely comes alive during the holiday season, with everyone decked out in Santa gear, festive events, church services, and tons of parties thrown throughout December. The annual Christmas market is hosted at the Mary's Well Square and is an unforgettable experience. It's safe to say that for some, celebrating Christmas in the location that's believed to be Jesus' childhood home gives off an authentic feeling. After all, Christmas celebrates his birth, and walking the streets he once wandered definitely makes it a very meaningful holiday. Christmas festivities in the capital city are some of the most magical you'll ever experience and is just a short 1-hour drive from Tel Aviv. Jerusalem is home to the Church of Holy Sepulchre, which is where Jesus was believed to be crucified and resurrected. And that's why you'll see thousands of pilgrims from all over the world come to celebrate Christmas right here. You can see them walking the famous route of Via Dolorosa with the cross of Christ over their shoulders. Many of the churches and monasteries in the Old City get in the holiday spirit by holding services and carol concerts. The city of Haifa is one of the most diverse cities in Israel, and Christmas celebrations here are beyond impressive. They decorate a huge Christmas tree right in the middle of the city and light it up throughout the whole month of December. The Holiday of Holidays annual festival actually combines the celebrations of 3 religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. So if you're coming from abroad in the month of December, make sure to check out all of these sites for an unforgettable experience of Christmas in the Holy Land.
Merry Christmas, everybody! Ho, ho, ho!
All right, well, on that note, let's take a look at the weather forecast. Bring your porch furniture in tonight because it's going to start raining tomorrow and should keep on going for the next 5 to 6 days. But for tonight, Tel Aviv will be cloudy with a low of 58 degrees or 14 degrees Celsius. And tomorrow will be rainy with a high of 64 or 18 degrees Celsius. All right, now in honor of the third night of Hanukkah, I am joined once again by the fabulous Gabriel Pace, who will help me light our candles. All right, so I'm going to light the first, but you're going to do us the honor, okay?
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second, Gabriel. Here you go, my friend.
Okay. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של חנוכה. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשה ניסים לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה.
Amen. כל הכבוד. Good job. There we go.
Yeah.
That is how you do it. And you might want to, there we go.
Yeah, I think it's
okay. Okay, what we can do is even, okay. It's good. Gabriel, you're a professional. Thank you so much for joining us. And we have a reward for you. It's a very funny video. Are you ready to see it?
With pleasure.
All right, we're going to leave you all with a little bit of what is going viral here in Israel. So if you're a pet owner and you find it at all hard to leave the house in the morning like I do, I think that this one will certainly speak to you. Take a look.
It's been a long day without you, my friend.
Yeah, everybody loves their pets. All right. That is it for today's news. Today's exchange rate is 3.48 shekels to the American dollar. For more news from ILTV, please like ILTV on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. I'm Natasha Kirchek, and thanks for watching.